Clark fans and the nuclear backlash that A'ja Wilson is getting right now over the the reveal of her Nike signature shoe from earlier today.
A'ja Wilson just ran headfirst into a brutal reality check this week, one that could echo for the rest of her career. After nearly 2 years of taking subtle and not-so-subtle shots at Caitlin Clark, the very player she believed she had power over, Team USA delivered the coldest message possible. They didn't debate it. They didn't soften the blow. They simply removed Wilson from the selection roster and officially placed Caitlin Clark into a starting role within the senior national pool, locking her in for both the 2026 World Cup and the 2028 Olympic Games. And make no mistake, this wasn't business as usual. This was a statement, a definitive shift in power. Today we're breaking down what triggered Wilson's behind-the-scenes meltdown, what the cameras didn't show you, and the one fatal flaw in her game that the WNBA establishment has quietly ignored for years. And as you're watching, don't forget to drop your take in the comments. Did Team USA make the right call, or did Wilson get unfairly cut?
If you're taken aback by that, if you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't compute. What about all of the A'ja Wilson Nike outrage last year that subjected not only Caitlin Clark, but her fans to all kinds of racial hate?
It's almost impossible to picture being crowned as one of the greatest players in the WNBA, branded as the face of the league, praised nonstop by media and sponsors, only to have your most prestigious opportunity ripped away in real time. But that's exactly what just happened to A'ja Wilson. The player who once believed her name alone carried weight across the sport just got a very public reminder that reputation doesn't secure a jersey. Team USA's decision to leave her out while elevating Caitlin Clark wasn't rooted in emotion, popularity, or social media buzz. This was a ruthless basketball decision, a global evaluation, a determination of which games actually survive high-pressure, international competition. And the outcome couldn't be clearer. When skill gets replaced with spectacle and confidence turns into chaos, eventually the truth catches up.
Great pass by Chelsea Gray into A'ja Wilson. Foul gets called.
Here's the uncomfortable truth the WNBA's old guard refuses to talk about. The fatal flaw buried deep in Wilson's game. She doesn't run on pure dominance. She runs on whistles. Special ones. Take a long look at the numbers and you'll see it plain as day. Nearly a dozen free throw attempts per game. That's not proof of unstoppable skill. That's proof of elite foul selling. Every drive to the rim comes with an exaggerated flail. Every contested shot turns into an immediate appeal to the officials. For years, WNBA referees have protected offensive stars like Wilson, turning favorable officiating into a scoring engine. It's smart, even brilliant for league play. But internationally, that strategy collapses. If this breakdown is making you think twice, make sure to like the video and let us know if you agree or...
It looked like they really were intentional about going to Aaliyah in the second half. What was, I guess, difficult about containing her? I know you guys kind of touched on a few things, maybe with the foul calls, but what made it successful for them to keep going to her tonight?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask Aaliyah that question. I honestly, you just do your work. You got to do your work early and make it different. But Aaliyah did say I have a special whistle. And she shot 13 today.
She's in that team?
Yeah. Yeah. She said the last game I had a special whistle, which is cool. So we just got to play their better defense, make her look a little difficult, and kind of go from there.
All right, thank you all.
And here's where everything fell apart. Team USA coaches and scouts weren't hypnotized by flashy WNBA highlight reels. They were studying international exhibition play. And what they saw was alarming. FIBA referees don't care about MVP banners, endorsement deals, or league narratives. They allow physicality that would normally send Wilson to the free throw line 10 or 12 times in a regular Aces matchup. But internationally, those same plays are waved on. The game keeps moving. And when the whistles disappear, so does the illusion. The fast, physical, free-flowing style of international basketball exposes every player who relies on officials to manufacture offense. That's the reality Team USA couldn't ignore. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Stay tuned, because the final clip connects all of this in a way people weren't ready for.
Wilson. Lots of folks are talking about Asia Wilson. You know, the player on the team where people are abandoning like rats off a sinking ship. You know, Asia Wilson, who has won 2 championships in the WNBA. Asia Wilson, who was crowned MVP before the 2024 season started. Asia Wilson, you know, she's a really good basketball player. But back to culture. I wouldn't want Asia Wilson on my team, or maybe I should turn it around. Since she's Asia Wilson, I wouldn't want to be on Asia Wilson.
And this is where the contrast with Caitlin Clark becomes impossible to ignore. Clark exists on an entirely different basketball wavelength. We're talking about a player who comfortably pulls up from 30 feet, drains shots defenders can't contest, and scores in ways no official can take away from her. When defenders make contact, she doesn't hunt the whistle, she finishes through it. Often, she doesn't even glance at the referee. Her offense is self-generated, self-reliant, and immune to rulebook manipulation. Those signature step-back threes and deep-range bombs are the product of elite footwork, exceptional balance, and a sky-high basketball IQ that translates anywhere in the world. Team USA scouts saw this difference play out in real time. When officials allowed real physical defense during international exhibitions, Wilson's scoring efficiency dropped hard. The marginal calls she had quietly depended on simply stopped coming. Her rhythm disappeared. Meanwhile, Clark's production stayed consistent and steady. Why? Because Clark isn't creating offense by initiating contact. She's creating separation. She relies on a high release point, surgical shot selection, and a shooting range that stretches defenses beyond their breaking point. The difference isn't subtle. It's glaring. Wilson initiates contact and waits for the whistle. Clark expects the contact, adjusts mid-motion, and scores anyway. Wilson's style thrives in a highly controlled, offense-friendly WNBA environment. Clark's style thrives everywhere. International basketball doesn't reward foul baiting. It rewards adaptability. FIBA games are more physical, less interrupted, and referees allow both teams to play through contact. That reality turns Wilson's game into a liability, because her scoring depends on frequent stoppages and favorable whistles that simply don't exist outside the league. Team USA isn't interested in unnecessary risk. They need players who can adjust across continents, cultures, and officiating styles. Clark's unguardable skill makes her a guaranteed asset. Wilson's dependence on a specific rule set makes her a gamble the coaches refuse to take. So the choice wasn't complicated. One player requires the perfect conditions to succeed. The other creates her own success no matter what. And when Wilson learned she was no longer needed by her country's team, her reaction was explosive. December was supposed to be another month of trophies and praise. Instead, Team USA released its preliminary selection pool, and Wilson's name wasn't there. Sources close to the organization described her reaction as a multi-day emotional breakdown. The player who believed she was untouchable discovered she had been replaced by the very person she spent 2 years trying to undermine. Clark received her invitation to the senior national team pool. Wilson received silence. The irony is overwhelming considering Wilson's long history of questioning Clark's right to the spotlight. Desperate phone calls followed. Wilson reportedly contacted multiple figures inside USA Basketball, demanding to know how this could have happened. Her representatives scrambled for last-minute meetings with coaches who had already moved on. Meanwhile, Clark was flooded with congratulatory messages from teammates, coaches, and fans. Her response was predictably humble, gratitude, excitement, and an eagerness to learn. The reaction gap between the two players feels like a documentary on character. Clark posted a simple thank you message. No shots. No demands. No entitlement. Wilson's camp, on the other hand, floated flimsy excuses about scheduling conflicts and prior commitments. Nobody bought it. The truth was clear. Team USA had been watching Wilson's behavior for years. Every passive-aggressive remark, every cryptic post, every attempt to diminish Clark was noticed. Chemistry matters at the international level. Professional conduct matters. Wilson's conduct screamed locker room risk. Clark responded to the constant harassment by staying silent and letting her game speak. Wilson burned energy on jealousy, while Clark focused on growth. The message from Team USA couldn't be sharper. Toxic behavior has consequences. They chose character over chaos. They chose professionalism over pettiness. They chose team builders over team destroyers. Wilson's meltdown only reinforced that decision. A player who can't handle rejection has no business representing her country under global pressure. Back in 2024, Wilson felt untouchable. MVP's rings. Media backing. She believed the spotlight belonged to her alone. Every dismissive comment toward Clark felt justified from a place of entitlement. But Team USA officials were watching closely. When Clark received major recognition, Wilson responded with skepticism instead of support. Interviews turned pointed. Social media became passive-aggressive. Clark's success became personal instead of celebratory. For 2 full years, Wilson wrote her own exit from the national program. Clark prepared quietly. She understood the weight of the opportunity. The chemistry forming between Clark and players like Aaliyah Boston gives Team USA a foundation built on respect, not ego. Coaches now see Clark as the perfect global ambassador. Elite skill, elite composure, zero drama. The upcoming evaluation camp will serve as her coronation. Wilson's exclusion sends a message to the entire league. Performance matters, but so does character. The era of the special whistle is over. The era of pure, unguardable skill has arrived. Now we want to hear from you. Did Team USA make the right call? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep coverage like this, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's next. Click the video on screen, and we'll catch you in the next one.